Okay, so first thing, we're going to do the roof structure. Select columns, select this W10 by 49 vertical column. Do not select the slanted column yet. And here we have to select the right level because we are on the 3D view. So level, it's not level 1. So I think it should be level 28, okay, because that's the roof. So let's select level 28, and we can place a column here, then here, and here. Okay. And if we had the fifth, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so on the fifth, there should be another one, but we don't have the fifth grid line. So let's see what we have done, if the levels are right or not. As always in Revit, the levels are not correct. Why? Because if we select this, they are still in level 1, top level, level 28. What the hell is that? No, sorry, it's this one. So it's a level 28, but with a base offset of -9. We don't want this. The base offset should be 0. And the top level, okay, so that's another issue. Hello. Yeah, you can. Okay, the problem is that we don't have a level. Okay, so this is the first thing we're going to do in one of the elevations. Let's select the east elevation, for example, and we need a level for that roof. What would be that level? Well, I don't know. So let's move it up. Let's say 12 inches. If there's always, yeah, 12 inches might be enough. Okay, so we are going to select the column now, the column that we have just inserted. And the top level is going to be level, I have to name it. This is level 40. Okay. So now, again, I select the column and the top level, let's say level 40, and the base offset 0. There you go. And then we have to do the same with all the columns that we have inserted. This one and that one. So level 40, 0. Okay. So now we can copy these 3 columns. At the intersection of the following grid line from this point to this point here. Okay. So now we have those columns here. I'm going to work with hidden lines. So that would be the structure. But the important thing is that the vertical elements go from the roof up to the ground floor. And then on the ground floor, we have this footing. Okay. So this is the most important thing, that we have a continuity of matter from the roof up to the soil. If that happens, most likely your building will stand. If it doesn't happen, your building will collapse at some point. Okay, now we have an issue with not an issue, but we have to create slanted columns. How can we do that? We can go to the top view. And I think I have to turn this to the wireframe, because the slanted columns are going to be here. Okay, so I'm going to create a structure column, and I'm going to select slanted, and in slanted, again, first click, I want level 28, and second click, I want level 40. Okay, so when we select slanted column, when we click for the first time is at level 28. And when we click, the second click is at level 40. So that's why we need these two levels. And let's see if it works. So I click here, so that should be on level 28. And the second one should be on level 40. What's the tilt? Well, I don't know. Let's say that we go like 12. Oh, so that's the length of the column. Be careful with this because this is 2 feet, 1 foot. Well, I don't know. So let's click here and see what happens. And the column base must be below top level, top offset. Yeah, so Revit always does these kind of things with the bloody tough top levels. So we have slanted column, we have first click, we have to change it again, level 28, second click, level 40. And I don't know, there's something here that doesn't work. I'm going to do this. Okay, so that works, but I want to see what I have done. Yeah, okay, so that should work like this. So that's a slanted column. The first level is 28, the second level is 40, and then I can change, yeah, probably that's the best option. We can change the angle here, I don't know, an angle like that. And now I can move this column to the right place. So I move, I select this midpoint, and then I should move it here. So let's see what it looks like. Yep. Around 70 or 75. I don't know the angle because I don't have any information about I only have this. I can notice that this is a slanted column, but I don't know the angle. But I assume that it's around 70, something between 70 and 80. Okay. So now we have these straight columns, then we have slanted columns, and I'm going to copy this one, top level. I'm going to copy from this point to this point here. And the first column should be at this intersection here. Okay, so that's a challenge because this first column, it's resting on an overhang. So that's why we created these two beams. Okay, so on the structural front, this is a little weird. I wouldn't do anything like that because I think it's scary not having a column here. But if you reinforced or you calculate those beams, taking into account that we have this vertical load here, maybe it will work. But well, it's having a column here placing this column on the overhang, it's a difficult decision. Okay, again, you have these two, so you have everything is this overhang is held by this and this. So I think it works, but yeah, it's complicated. Anyway, so now we have 3 slanted columns, and then we have columns that they are not slanted. But now we have a slope. Okay, so what's the slope? I think they told me that it's around 20 or 25 degrees, the roof slope. So I think the best thing we can do now is to create a reference plane. So we're going to the east elevation. I am working with a fine detail, okay? So from the east elevation, I can consider that the lowest point of this PV array, it's 12 feet, okay? So I'm going to create a reference plane. So go to architecture, reference plane, and I'm going to pick this point, and then the angle, well, 20 is too much. Well, let's say 20, no, 20 is too much, definitely. So let's say 15. Okay, we're going to extend this reference plane here, and we're going to name it roof PV, okay, because that's the PV array. So that's going to be the plane for the roof. Okay, so we can see that reference plane on the 3D view. We only can see the reference plane on the east elevation. And now we have to extend this here, or we can because now we need beams connecting all these columns. If we look at this, okay, so we have beams connecting these columns. I wish I could see this, but no, we go back in time and we can't see. Yeah, I think there's an overhang here. Yeah, so let's do that. So there would be an overhang and it will start yeah, at this point. So we need a beam that goes from this point to that point. How can we do that? Go to the 3D view. We can go to the top view. And now we're going to select structure, beam. And that structural beam, there is no way to attach that structural beam to a reference plane. Oh yeah, it's here we have placement plane, it's level 1. So let's select the reference plane roof PV. That's what I wanted to do, okay? So select structure, beam, and make sure that the placement plane, it's there. Sometimes we have an icon to select the plane, the work plane. Well, now we have it. Before we didn't have it. But you can work with this reference plane, this roof PV. And now let's go from this point. I don't know where exactly the beam starts. Let's start here and then go like here. I don't know exactly the length of that beam, but something like that. Yeah. Okay. The most important thing is that the beam is placed on that grid line, and the tilt is the tilt of the reference plane that we have created. If you find out that the reference plane is not this angle and it's different, and you have to move it down, well, you can move it down, and then the beam will move accordingly what you have done with the reference plane. Okay, so you have attached that beam to that reference plane. And now we have to attach all these to the beam. So you can drag this all the way up to the beam. And we can drag this. Okay, so in this case, we can't drag it. So what can we do? We can work with the top offset. I don't know exactly that distance, but we can try with 5 feet. Okay, we need more. Let's make it 7. 7, 8. Okay, 8 will work. Now we have to fix that. and this one probably should go down. Why am I doing this? Well, because I think the beam has to be a continuous element, and then we have to interrupt the column. So I can move this -1, and that will work. Okay, so I have to do this with all the beams that I have selected here. The top offset should be -1 for all of them. And the base offset, if I select structural columns, the top offset is always 8 feet for all the columns here. Okay, so that's it. Oh, and we have to do this with all of these columns. Yeah, I have to select this one up to that point and find, Uiba, what the hell is that? Yeah, we have to be careful. Okay, so don't go up to this snapping point. What the hell? Can we do it this way? No, we can't. Okay, so we have to be careful with this because I think we have to copy this column first, and then we can attach it to the right beam. Let me do this here. No, it doesn't work. Maybe we can do this with the top offset. Yeah, because if we do it with the top offset, we change the, okay. Let's copy the right one. So we have to copy this to the grid line. And now it works. Okay. And now we can copy this beam, use the grid line as a reference, and we have it here and there. There you go. And finally, we will have the same issue with these beams. So we're going to copy this one. And now again, use the reference line. There you go. Okay, are we done with this? Well, not yet, because we have two directions of the beam. I think so. Yeah, if we look at this, you see that we have this beam here, and then we have another beam connecting the columns in this direction. Okay. Yeah, so here we can see how this one is placed on this overhang. Challenge. Okay, so we need the other direction of beams. 1, 2, and 3. We see 1, 2, and 3 beams here. So let's do it. If we go to the top view, I think the best way would be to place a beam on that grid line. If we select the midpoint here, and then we go all the way. Again, I don't know the length of this, but let's take it this way. And then I can drag this in this direction. Let's see what I have done. Yeah, that looks good. And now I have to place this beam here and there. The problem is that we don't have a level or we don't have a reference plane there. So the best thing I can do is to copy this beam from this grid point to this and this. And well, there would be another grid line there. Okay, we don't have this one because we have these beams connecting the columns. If we have only three lines of columns, okay, we don't have this extra. Yeah, so no, okay. So that's the structure, the tilted structure. Tilted columns or slanted columns. We have straight columns, and we have beams connecting everything. So at the end, we have a grid. And what else do we need? If we look at again this, we have a beam system, and the beam system goes in this direction. You see that we have elements in that direction. So let's create a beam system. So the end of the beam system is this overhang. So let's see what we can do. Select structure, beam systems, and now we can pick elements. Well, first we have to set the work plane. So the work plane is the reference plane roof PD. Okay, so make sure that you select the roof as a reference plane. And now we can either pick lines. No, but we're not going to pick lines. I'm going to draw lines from the top of this beam to here, okay? Now I need another line from the top of this beam there. And now the top of this beam all the way down here. And finally, I have to close this because the beam system has to be a closed loop. So I'm going to create another line here, and I'm going to trim. Okay, so if I trim all these and I create a closed rectangle, and now I have to select the direction, the beam direction. So it's not that one according to the picture. It's this direction. Okay, so you have to select beam direction and click this one, the tilted line, and it should work. Now we can fix the distance, the number of elements, but if we click OK, we have the beam system here. How many beams do we need? Well, I don't know why we have this. Okay, yeah. That looks weird because, well, we can fix this with the right number or with the right distance between these. What is the distance? What was the distance between two grid lines? I don't remember. It was 34. Okay. So if we divide 34 by 4, 6 por 6, 36. It's a weird number to divide. Anyway, We can select fixed number. If we select 6, we select 7, 8, 12. Okay, so I'm trying to prevent this from happening. So I don't want this to be so close to the main beam, or this. Mm, how can I do that? Okay. So I'm going to delete this beam system. There should be a way to calculate that, but I don't want to do math at this time in the morning. So let's create beam system again, and let's draw the boundary line. And I'm going to draw just this here, 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 and here. Now the beam direction is correct, is this one. And I click this, and this is what I wanted. I don't want to duplicate this beam here. So that's why if you select only that span, you can create this and it works perfectly. And here, if we fix the space, if we want to make, to change the space, I think, or even the fixed number, if we have 6, or we can have 8, yeah, so we can have the number that we need. I think 6, it's enough. Okay, I'm going to do it again. So beam system, set the work plane in this roof PV. Now draw the boundary line. So I'm going to pick this line here. Uh, here. This, click finish, click fixed number and select 6. And now we have the same elements there. Okay, so that looks nicer and there is no duplicated beams. Looks better. And now we have the issue with the overhang. So with the overhang, we should do the same. If we want to make it, yeah. So we see that there is just one after this beam. We have only one more here, and the distance, this distance should be the same as that one. Is there a way to do that? Yes, there is. We can select this beam, and now we can copy. Can we copy just one? I want to copy from this point to this. And now I have another one at the same distance. Okay, so that looks good. Now you have to continue. Well, you have to. This PV array continues up to, I don't know, the length of this PV array, but it's just about keep copying the columns and the beam systems. We are going to create a wall like this one. But as a 3D element. So let's go to a wall. wall. Let's see what options we have here. We have exterior brick and CMU. Okay, I think we can use this or this. Okay, let's use this one. Now we are going to edit type, and I'm going to edit the structure. So here we have most of the elements that we need. Brick common, it's not 4 inches, it's 3 5/8. Okay, that's fine. Then we don't have this concrete masonry unit here. Okay, let me see the other option. Because here we have metal stat. Let me see this brick on CMU and edit this structure. We have the finish brick common. Okay, so then we have the thermal layer. Then we have rigid insulation, a membrane. The structure is the concrete masonry unit. So yes, I think we have, yeah, we can use this one. Just this option, it's what we need. We need a 4-inch brick element. Then we have an air gap, 3 inches, rigid insulation 3. I think we have more rigid insulation. We can have like 6, and the air gap can be 2. And the structure is 7 5/8. So this is an 8-inch concrete masonry unit. And then the metal furring, it's about 2 inches. And then the finish, it's about 1 inch or ½ inch, something like that. Yeah. So just change this to select this basic wall exterior brick on CMU. And just change this because the air gap is smaller and the thermal insulation is bigger. We click OK. And we have a decent R value around 38. Okay. And we can do that. Okay. So now on level 1, basically level 1, it's a wall and we have windows. So we don't have a curtain wall on level 1. So we can trace so look at this, okay? So we have the grid line. The grid line is the right place for the structure, but the wall goes beyond the structural element. That's actually good because we don't have issues with thermal breaches. So that's why the outline of the slab is off or is away from the grid lines. The thing is that if we do this by default, the midline of the wall is where the slab is. We can fix that, or we can. Okay, so let's do this. And now I'm going to create fine details. So here in fine details, yeah, I think this is the right. Go to hidden line. So this is the 4-inch brick. Then we have 2 inches. Then we have 6 inches thermal insulation. And that's the concrete masonry unit, 8 inches. What I could do is to line up. You can use a line. You can use the outline of the slab. And then you can use the outline of the wall, the exterior line of the wall. And then we can line it up. And I think it would work. And then if we go like this, yes, that works just fine because look at this. We have to prevent the conflict between the solid concrete masonry unit and the steel beam. So here we have this, but this is the interior finish. So what happens is that the interior finish is wrapping the steel structure. And that's good for fire protection. And we don't have any exposed. No, we don't have here. Yeah, but I think this is the right size and this is the right place for everything. Okay, so now you have to keep going with this wall up to the edge of this element here. And well, we can keep going, architecture wall, we select it. Make sure that you continue the outline and then we will align everything to the right. position here, here, there. Go. And now we have to align. I think there are too many things. I'm going to hide this, and I'm going to use the wireframe because we have to line up the slab. So that's the slab, and that's the exterior line. Something weird happens here. You see that here, this is the correct element because we have the brick outdoors, but here brick is indoors. So we have to change this like this. Okay, so now we have a continuity of all the materials. I think we have to do that every single, yeah, I don't know why it changes, but we have to change the orientation of all the walls here because the brick is always outside. There you go. And now we have to line up all the, first we have to find out where the slab is. It's here. Where is the slab? Oh, that's gonna be tricky. Okay. But I have to change the order of this. Okay, so when we have a thick wall, it's difficult because we have so many layers that we have to make sure that there's a continuity of the materials. Okay, we don't interrupt the concrete masonry unit. And now it's lined up. So it's tricky because you have to make sure that the line that you are using is the correct outline of the floor slab. But I think now it's correct. Okay, let's take a look at the 3D view and whoop. Okay, so let's attach the walls to the first floor. I'm going to select everything. I'm going to filter walls. And I'm going to attach to top base. This is the floor slab. And I'm going to do this. There you go. Okay, on the first floor, we have this and, oh, I didn't attach this to the slab. What? Oh, I can't keep the floor joint because I went beyond the floor footprint. Okay. Okay, so on this floor, we have the opaque wall and the openings are just windows. We don't have a curtain wall. yeah, we don't have curtain walls here. We have this glass door, but the rest of the openings are windows. On the second floor is different because most of but I think the curtain wall is where the overhangs are, there and there. So whenever we have an overhang, we have a curtain wall, and the rest of the wall is just opaque wall with windows. So let's do it. We are going to go to this view. We are going to the second level. It's level 14. So on level 14, everything is a wall except for the overhangs. Okay, let's do it. So architecture, wall, I picked the same wall. The base is level 14. The top constraint, I can make the top constraint level 28. And now this is the wall. Again, I have to change the orientation of the wall. And it goes up to this overhang here. And here we will start the curtain wall. Okay, so we stop the wall there. And now I think we have the same wall. We can start here and here and there. Here we have the overhang. Again, I have to change the orientation of the wall with the brick facing outdoors. I'm going to line up this and the exterior face of the wall. And if that's the overhang, this is the grid space. Now I will continue with the wall there. Change the orientation and align. Okay, so this is that's the challenge of this building, because now here we have to connect this opaque wall to this curtain wall. And how can I do that? Well, that would be, it's something that cannot be solved in the floor plan. If we look at the original floor plans of this building, we can do that on level 1. If we unhide the view here, unhide in view elements. Yeah, so this is what we get. We get the opaque wall, it stops, and something new starts. But we can't tell how they solved this issue here. Okay, so yeah, so there's something, we have to stop the wall, then we have to start the curtain wall, but that would be a call out. Okay, and very important one, because when we finish the opaque wall and we start something new, there might be a lot of issues. We can have a lot of cracks, and we can have a lot of opportunities to get water, air leaks, and all this. Okay, so here we just see the solution, but we don't understand by looking at it how they have solved the transition between the brick and the aluminum curtain wall. So that would be the challenge of this building. But we will work with that on the callouts. What we are going to do now on level 14 is just to deal with the curtain wall. By the way, I have brought a curtain wall here. This building, so now it's just, you have to finish it on your own. So you have to create this curtain wall here and finish this curtain wall. So when you are done with the model itself, we will start taking sections and we will work with the call out. Okay, so remember that the call out is this. So this is what we have to define. It's a transition between something opaque. This is the opaque element, and this is the transparent element, and that's the roof. Here we have the structure. We have the whole building. Yeah, so we have to deal with that. And the following detail is the bottom part of this curtain wall. Okay, so first we have to finish this, yeah, because that is the overhang. Okay, so that section is here. So you have to complete this corner of the building. And then next time we will have a section and we will work with the call out from the roof up to the ground floor. So here we only have the curtain wall itself, but we will end up having there's another detail of the wall and the basement. So basically we will have a wall section that's from the ground floor up to the roof.